have a big box in front of you.
I do. We had a company reach out to us about their product, and we've agreed to sort of test their product.
Yeah.
And the super exciting thing is that it is a laser engraver and laser cutter. And I will fully confess that when we first started talking about this, my mind went nuts with all a million things that we could do with this. So hopefully we can get that, all those wonderful things going. But yeah, so it finally arrived, and we are going to unbox and put it together, and then we'll see what we can produce from it.
Oh, that is so exciting.
Can't wait. We are opening the box. I love unboxing things.
Who doesn't love a good unboxing?
Well, you know me, I love toys.
You do have an affinity for the technology.
I do indeed, yeah. Ah, that wonderful new technology smell. Manuals, start guide, love those.
Okay.
Wow, look at that. Look at all the cables and technical things. This should be fun. Look at that. All right, let's start. It's gonna be, it's good, solid weight stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. All right. So I guess I need to get into the instructions and make sure I do this right.
Yes.
I'm not one of those.
Sorry.
I am one of those who does like to actually make sure that they're put together properly to begin with, and not just assume I know how to put them together. Yeah, particularly a machine that I've never used before. So
right.
Here we go. Let me see if I can put this thing together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I think we have to do this bit immediately.
We got us another new pair of safety goggles. And these are colored ones because it's a laser.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's a good look, isn't it? For all those Back to the Future fans out there.
That's almost as good as my Paris Fashion Week look the other day.
But they have to be colored so that you can see the laser.
Okay.
And obviously it's protection for your eyes as it engraves.
Don't look directly at the laser, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
So there you go, cool new glasses. So after a little bit of futzing about, I've managed to get the laser engraver together. There was a little bit of fiddly bits here and there, with the tiny little screws that I had to get in little parts, but generally it went together okay. They did provide a little thumb drive with a video on how to put it together, which of course I didn't watch because I figured I could do it. So I did it with the instructions that were provided, and we got there in the end. And I've just plugged it in, and here we go, the first turning on. Oh, good sounds. Look at that. It's making noise, that's always a good sign. I guess we're ready to try and start printing. The last step of the instructions that came with the machine is to basically calibrate it. So after taking about an hour to put it together, roughly, I think I'm ready to now do the calibration. So let's try that. So I'm just running the first test run on the SD card that was provided with the machine. And it seems to be doing a great job. Thought this was quite adorable. A couple of little characters. I didn't get the wood quite placed properly, but you can see the quality of it. Absolutely fantastic. things that really excites us about living in a chateau and living this lifestyle is that we get a chance to explore the creative ideas that are in our head. There's so much opportunity in the chateau to add little elements that we can that we come up with to decorate and to bring to the chateau a little bit of us. To aid in that creativity, sometimes we need a little extra tools and a little extra help and a little extra technology. And that's why we are so excited to have this Longer laser engraver with us. It's going to allow us to create all sorts of fun elements that we can bring into the chateau and to develop for marketing purposes, and who knows, like just to customize things. To be able to utilize this is going to be so much fun. So just to give you a background, Longer's been making machines, both 3D printers and laser engravers, since 2016. And they've got a range of products that will suit your needs. This machine in particular is the RAY5 10W. And it's the best budget 10-watt laser printer for beginners on the market. It's very strong and it provides an outstanding engraving ability. The laser is actually a 10-watt laser and it has a focal length of 50 millimeters. And what that means in reality is you can cut up to 20 millimeter thick wood or 30 millimeter thick acrylic, which is really thick, and it allows us to do all sorts of fun stuff with that material. It will also engrave on all kinds of different pieces of material, from leathers and woods and paper to plastics and acrylics. It will do it all. It's fantastic. We've only just scratched the surface of what we can do with it so far, and we can't wait to get into more elements as we go forward. Fortunately for us, this machine has some really great safety features, including things like a flame detector. So, you know, if the laser does burn, it is burning wood after all, and it does create a little flame, it will automatically turn itself off and beep to let us know. And I will confess, I probably already tested this feature. It also has protection against angles, so if it changes its pitch, then it knows that it should shut off. It will also shut off if it hasn't been used in a while, which is a useful feature. You know, when something like this that produces so much heat, we want to make sure that it's safely off when it's not being used. And there is actually a fireproof acrylic cover over top of the laser that will help protect both the user and the eyes, particularly when the machine is in use. For using it, there's this fantastic 3.5-inch touchscreen, which allows you to actually use the machine offline, which is fantastic. You can actually transfer files to it via Wi-Fi or by USB cable directly into a computer, but they also provide you a micro SD card, and you can put the files on the SD card itself, pop it in the machine, and just print directly off of that. And that is really amazing. It means that we don't have to be here with a computer hooked in. We can be on, you know, the sofa somewhere nearby, continuing to design whilst the machine is actually printing or cutting. There are a number of softwares that are available for these machines as well. The one that we're using is Lightburn, which is awesome. We can actually take files directly into Lightburn and it will set up the format necessary to run the machine. So it's just a matter of taking that, saving it out properly, doing our settings in Lightburn, then either putting it on the card or we could plug directly into the computer and have it run that way, which is awesome. You can use a Windows or a Mac-based system or even a Linux-based system. They're all compatible with this machine. And the file formats, you can use any file format from JPEG, BNG, BNP, G-codes, GIFs, SVGs, all sorts of different formats, which is really user-friendly. For my use, I actually use Adobe Illustrator in my daily work, and I'm able to actually create designs within Adobe Illustrator, save those vector files, put them into Lightburn, and it will create the file necessary to run the machine. And that for me is just awesome because it allows me to create in a software that I'm used to and I'm comfortable with, and then still be able to produce it on this machine. So as far as the laser, the engraving area, it's 400 by 400 millimeters, which is really quite large for a beginner unit. It allows us to create relatively big pieces that we can utilize throughout the house. you know, both for decorative items and creating things like boxes and stuff like that for our pantry. There are also a bunch of accessories that are available for the machine itself that you can enhance the experience. Things like a rotating platform for bottles so that you can actually rotate whilst it engraves, or there's air-assisted accessories which will keep the particles away from the laser as it's continuing to cut for a much cleaner cut, and all those sorts of things. So we're super excited to have this with us. Thank you so much to Longer for providing us with this machine. We are just starting our wonderful experience with it, and boy, I cannot wait to show you all the millions of ideas that we have for it. Now that I've gotten over a few of the teething problems with the software, I'm starting to make this work, which is great. And what I'm going to do now is actually start working on some real wood. So about these panels, they're only about 5 mil, but it's lovely wood. It's actually ply, and I think it'll work really well for both cutting and etching. And this is what I'm going to make the room signs out of. Nice. So to adjust it, really easy process, quite frankly. They provide you with this lovely little dowel, metal dowel, or this laser slides up and down on a rail, and you just pop this in there and adjust it up and down until it sits perfectly on top, like so. And then there's 2 screws on the front that you just tighten up. And remove the dowel, and there you go. It is now calibrated for the right height.
Well, that's easy.
That is easy, and I really like that part because I've worked with a couple of other little machines, and making sure that calibration is right can be tricky. So I really appreciate the simplicity of having something that you can just put in, jam down, done. Yeah. So there we go. I think we're ready to just try an attempt.
Exciting.
I've run a couple of test etchings with the files that they provided on the disc. So you can see the Longer logo here. It's in short relief, but it's really clean. I'm pretty impressed, particularly because this is just simple, MDF or masonite board. And then on the back of this, I tried with this material with one of the room signs that we're going to do. And this is much, much deeper. You can see that the depth is really quite substantial on this one. Quite a bit of charring that you can see there, but I think a light sanding would easily take that off. But the detail is amazing. The fact that it can get all these little curls, and you can see by the size of my finger that it's really tiny, these lines, and they're very, very clean. So I have high hopes that this will all work out really well. Now that we've done some testing, let's see what the real thing looks like. So you can see here, I put one of the room signs in Lightburn, which is a great software. I have assigned it both a cut for the exterior and an engraving for the interior. And I have double checked the laser, and you can see here, it shows me exactly where the cut is going to happen, so I can see and adjust as necessary, which is great. Now I just need to get the print running. I have been playing around with the room signs on the laser cutter and been having a little bit of fun. So the engraving part I seem to be able to get right, but I was having difficulty getting the cut right. So these pieces here were meant to be cut out on the exterior lines here. And the the settings that I had for laser were not quite right for them to cut out. So I did a little test up here with some different settings and managed to get all 3 squares cut with limited difficulty. I also managed to cut out the shape of one of these, which is great because it's a little more complicated as far as the shape goes. So things that I'm learning about are wood grain definitely does have an impact. So depending on which way you have the wood positioned, so the wood grain in this is going this way, and this carved much deeper with the same settings as it did here, which are going against the grain. So little things to figure out as I'm going along and play with. But I am optimistic that the next one will all work well. One of the things that was noted in the manual, and you know, I guess it's common sense, this is of course burning wood, so it's going to produce some smoke. It does have a fire safety system, so if fire is detected, it will shut down. But because it's obviously producing a bit of smoke, and depending on the material that you're using, you definitely want to be in a well-ventilated area. So I've got this right now in our grand salon, and I do have a door right here, so I can open that up and get the air flow through here. But it definitely produces some smoke as you're going, and of course the more you do and the deeper you go, the more smoke it produces. Wow, so excited. Look how well those turned out. And hopefully, yes indeed, I finally got the level right for cutting. So now we have these amazing signs for our bedrooms. You can see it's about 5 mil thick. I think a little bit of sanding just to get rid of the charring. But now we can put these on the doors of the bedroom. How fantastic is that? So excited to see it come to fruition.